In this video, let's explore how you can use automation in your sessions. And what I mean by automation, I mean that we're programming or writing in data on a parameter so that when you play back, it reads the data that you've programmed in or recorded in and follows those movements. For example, recording the changes of movements in a volume fader, and then when you play it back, it replays those movements. Let's first take a look at how this is done in the mixer window, and then I'll show you how it's done in the editor window. So down here on a track, you've got this M button. Now, don't be confused with mute. This is actually the automation mode, and currently it's set to manual. So that means there's no automation. It's just following the manual movements that you do on a parameter. But you do have the options of play, write, and touch. Play will play back and read any automation that you've written in. Write will write in automation. So when you set this mode and you press play, it'll record any movements you do to a parameter. And then touch, it's a bit of a different one. Say you've already recorded in some automation. Your fader, for example, is moving like this. If you've got it set to touch, when you touch that parameter again, it'll overwrite any automation that you already have in. And then when you let go, it'll go back to the previous automation. So let's see this in action. I'm going to set it to write, and I want to play back this vocal and do some volume rides on it and see how it records in the data. So let's just quickly jump to the editor and just set a loop range, maybe the verse. So I'll set it to verse 2. Let's jump back to the mixer and let's just solo the vocal and play it back. So I'll set the loop, which is the shortcut L.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag, hope it's all I need. But who knows? Who knows? And I'll leave behind the Christmas tree too. It's just one less thing to remind me of you.
Okay. So now let's go and move to play mode. Now let's loop again and see what happens.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag.
See, it's picked up all that detail there.
But who knows? Who knows? And I'll leave behind the Christmas tree too. It's just one less thing to remind me.
Now let me demonstrate touch for you. So I'm going to start the playback and watch this.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag, hope it's all I...
Now I'm going to set it to touch, and I'm going to start playback.
Life is best traveled
move it,
toes, so I
and then leave it,
back, hope it's all I
and it jumps back.
But who knows?
Now when I go to playback,
Life is best traveled light on your toes,
there's that touch automation.
back, hope it's all I need. But who knows? Who knows?
Awesome. So that's showing you the 3 different automation modes on the fader. Now, I just want to stress that this is automation for just the fader. If I set it to touch and go move one of these other parameters, it's not going to work. So just keep that in mind. In the mixer, you're doing volume automation on the fader. Now, let's see how we do other automation. And to do this, we need to go across to the editor. Now, in the editor, you'll notice you've got this automation button over here. And when you click on this, you can see all the automation options that you have. You can automate the fader. And as you can see, there's all that data that we did. If I just select the range tool and just draw in here, I could actually go in and remove that. And that's another thing to point out. So we have got fader automation. And if I go to the draw mode, I can actually draw in some points. Then if I go to the grab mode, I can actually grab those automation points and move them around. So that's one way of working with automation. You can use these editing tools to create node points on it and then edit them. Or you can select an automation mode like we've already seen. Let's go back to touch and play back.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag, hope it's all I need. But who knows?
And see how that records in that automation.
Who knows? And I'll leave behind the Christmas tree too. It's just
Obviously, that's very drastic automation. You'd never really do that. I just want to demonstrate that to you. Let's get rid of that. And you can hide that if you don't want to see it. And if you go to the automation again, you can see the different modes. So that was fader. I could automate the trim, the mute. Or if I go to processor automation, you can see the extra parameters here. So here, for example, I could go into the compressor and automate the threshold. Let's loop here and do a quick automation. So set it to write and playback.
one less thing to remind me of you.
Yeah, it was just something very quick. Now let's automate the fader. You can see it brings up another lane. Let's set it to right.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag, hope it's all I need. But who knows? Who knows? And
Now let's choose something else. Let's go to automation again and maybe go to the pan. That brings up another lane over here. And let's go to right, playback.
best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag, hope it's all I need. But who knows? Who knows?
Now just what I want to demonstrate is if you jump back to the mixer window and I play back.
Life is best traveled light on your toes, so I packed one bag.
Didn't realize I was doing that. Anyway, so I was actually doing automation to the other vocal track. If you go here, you can see that's actually to the harmony. So let's solo that harmony and hear what we actually did here. Bearing in mind there's a big volume boost over there. But what I want to show you, actually, let's maybe just draw something in on this compression threshold. What I'm wanting to show you is all these different parameters moving. So the threshold is going to move, the pan, and the fader. See, volume, pan, and the threshold. So you've got quite a bit of control there with the different lanes. And then you can just hide all automation when you don't want to see it, or show all the existing automation. Now, if you add a plugin, let's say on this vocal track that you add, let me add that ear reverb. And let's dial in, that's fine, let's just do that setting. And it's got quite a lot of parameters on here. So let's just look for something. I want to look for the early reflection ER art. Let's see if we can find that. So if I jump back to the editor on this track, I'm going to go to automation. Now you'll see that plugin and all its parameters. Now that's quite extensive. What I said it was the early reflection and the art. Can we find that? Probably somewhere in there. I think it was the early reflection level, but let's maybe jump back to the plugin and just get a better idea of that. So that might have been jumping the gun, just wanting that dial. I think it was the level. So it's ER art. So let's see that. So now we could go to the editor and you could go to automation. You do have to just know a bit about the parameter name. Early reflection level. So you could go here and write in some other automation.
So I picked one bag, hope it's all I need, but who knows? And I'll leave behind the Christmas tree too. It's just one less thing to remind me of you.
Awesome. Now going to playback mode on all of these just to make sure we don't overwrite anything. I'll go back to the mixer and pull that plugin up. Here we go. automating that parameter.
But who knows?
Awesome. So that's giving you a good idea now on how you can automate any of your parameters within the channel strip and any inserts and third-party plugins. Now, I spoke about VCA faders in the last video. Now, let me show you how you can automate those. So down here, you can see all your VCA faders and you can see the automation. So let's do some automation to the volume fader. Jumping back to the mixer, I just want to make sure something. I just want to make sure that the drums are in view. And then I'm going to expand these VCA faders. And let's go back to the editor and let's place something in. So I'm just going to move this fader while I've got right selected. But maybe what I should probably do is make sure that we can hear the drums. So let's take those vocals off and let's solo just the drums. So let's play back first. Cool, so that's the drums there. And here we go. Awesome. And go to play mode, jump back to the mixer, and let's see if this works. So you can see how the VCA fader is moving for the drums, and it's also offsetting all those tracks that are going to that VCA fader. So now can you see the benefit of VCAs? You can route your tracks to VCA faders, and then just automate the VCA fader to automate all those tracks assigned to it. And it's just one more thing I want to show you in the editor. If you're on a track, let's say the bass, where's the bass? Before the drums, here's the bass over here. If I select the range tool, it comes up with this automation here. I can select that and draw in some automation. So here I'm making a drop in the region level. And let's just select off that. And then go back again, and you can see I have that volume dip. And you can even go in and make some extra automation node points. But if I play this back, maybe pull that all the way down, play back. So it's automating the level, but it's not moving the fader. As you can see, show all automation, and there's nothing happening there. And that's an important thing to point out. Basically, this is automation that's happening on a region-based level, not a fader level. So just understand that, that's important. So you can do some region automation to the volume, and then this doesn't affect your volume fader. So the fader automation or the track fader is separate to the region automation. Cool. So I think that's covered quite a bit with regards to automation. So it can get a bit confusing, but just bear in mind that in here, you've got your automation mode, and that deals with the fader. Then if you want to automate anything else, you can go into the editor and choose it from the processor automation. Then you can set the different modes and show all the different automation lanes for your track, and then hide them if you want to just clean up your arrangement and not see everything. Great. So I hope you understand automation now. And it's a powerful tool to get into when you want some more micro control over your mixing in your session. So try this out in your sessions and get your head around the different automation modes and how they can be used to improve your productions. Catch you in the next video.